Hey everybody, this is Eric, and we're going to be going over the results, analysis, statistics from Pittsburgh from this past weekend. And first of all, I want to say a couple of things. For those of you that didn't know, I was actually in Pittsburgh with you all this weekend. And again, I'm probably going to be able to come to very few of these, if not none of them. Uh, I might end up coming to Atlantic City. But aside from that, my experience with you guys is going to be either just from afar videos or maybe some practices from time to time. But I just wanted to say a couple of things. And for reference, remember that I used to coach kids of this age for years. Five years. I had kids go from seventh grade right through 11th, just like you guys. Took them right through from the beginning, right through to some kids played in college, some didn't. And everybody had a really very similar experience. And I dealt with a lot of kids, a lot of parents, a lot of situations. I say that with background because I don't want you to take what I'm going to say lightly. Given the opportunity to experience you guys in person, see the interactions between players and coaches and things like that. Not to get too into it, but I'm pretty good at this kind of thing. You guys as a team are exceptional. And I say this both to the kids, the parents, and the coach or whatever. Some really high level young men here, and I bring that up not from a basketball perspective at all, although you guys can play also. My observations of how you guys interact with one another, with the coaches, and how engaged you guys were. Forget on the court, but also on the bench, was quite remarkable. And I've seen many teams. To see how some of you guys, even when you're not in the game, just be right in there. Just driven on even when you're on the bench, to be present and engaged in the game and supportive of all your teammates, and the ability for all the kids to be extremely coachable. And Chris talked about this after one of the games, that it's not easy. I mean, it's not easy to be coachable. And the fact is, you guys didn't play the greatest, honestly, but I honestly don't care. You guys were so remarkable as teammates. And these skills, and you won't appreciate this now, but you will later in life, is extremely powerful. And I was particularly impressed. And anybody want to take credit for it, as usual, it's kind of a joint effort. On the one hand, the coaches, Chris, won't tolerate anything else, but who cares about that? I mean, it's not just what a coach can tolerate, because whatever a coach wants, if the kids aren't going to give it, it doesn't make a difference. And so, yes, Chris demands that of you guys, but what's he going to do if you're not like that, really? And so we're down to why you guys behave that way. And now we're back to kind of a combination of both what's in you as kids, and what was instilled in you as from your parents. And as you get later in life, also, as when you become parents of your own, or if your parents already know this probably, some things you can teach children and some things you can't, and kids are just kind of a combination of what is it, nurture and genetics. There's some things, no matter what we do as parents, you can hope that your kids get better at, hope they whatever, but some of it is just inbred. Some of it is just in the kids, and some isn't. And so it's a combination of all of that leads to this team being extremely cooperative, extremely engaged, and it really was just kind of remarkable to watch. So listen, I know the reality is that you guys are going to be a team only for another couple of months, okay? But these skills are going to translate, to other teams, other areas of your lives, and things like that. So I guess from the analytical guy, right? People think, oh, it's just cold-blooded, heartless analytics. You don't care about people. Not really, but it is something that I did notice quite remarkable. That's the first thing. Second of all, I apologize if I wasn't particularly vocal with everybody and speak to people too much. I was just completely sick, but it went anyway. Nonetheless, let's take a look at the results from these games. And again, we're going to look at it from a statistical perspective. And for those of you that are following for now, you already know what I'm looking for. But just to review, we're looking for particular numbers that reflect what you're going to need in the long run to beat and to win these types of tournaments. So again, what we're looking for, effective field goal percentage is over 55%, a turnover rate below 20, and an offensive rebound percentage of above 30. So in this first game against Short Shots, this is very interesting because, you know, I just kind of walked over it. And this is one of the reasons why I like doing the videos. Sometimes what we see is not what actually happened, if that makes any sense. I know sometimes people think that numbers lie, but you know, numbers can fib, but they're usually more reliable than your eyes. Now, when I went to this game, I mean, I just saw the end of the game, and when I got there, you guys were down 7, and then you went on a run and ended up winning by 5. And I thought, oh my God, amazing win. And Chris was like, I don't know, they were struggling for so long. So I figured I'd wait to see the numbers, and yeah, he was right. You guys did struggle. I mean, your effective field goal percentage is 36%, which is extremely low. I mean, you're very rarely going to be able to get away with that. Your turnover rate was really low, though, which is good. Okay, so that can make up for it somewhat. You got no rebounds pretty much at all. So, I mean, you might ask, how the hell can you win a game like this? The answer is very rarely, but fortunately, the opponent cooperated by being just as bad with their effective field goal percentage and extraordinarily atrocious with their turnover rate at 24%. So, you know, as Chris also talked about during one of the games, I mean, defensively, you guys are doing great. You're holding teams to below what I would demand of them. So that's why you were able to get away with this win like this. Again, I will tell you that this is not going to work like 90% of the time, this 36% effective field goal percentage. But that's what happened in this game. Let's take a look at the shot chart. And that would be from the Short Shot game. And again, I don't like this at all. Like the anything from these, you know, mid-range areas, like 1, 2, 3, but they're only 4 shots. Okay. So this I like. I like to think that what I'm saying is trickling down to Chris and trickling down to you guys a little bit. So as long as you're keeping this below 10% of your field goal attempts, we're good. Now it turns out you guys couldn't make it, you know, from out here. But these are at least the right shots to take. And you probably should be a little bit better from around the rim. And again, what you could do is you would click through here and see what your misses look like inside, and then you can work on them. Okay, like for example, click through here. And this will show like all of the misses that were labeled at the rim, or at all the shots that were at the rim. You can just keep going through here. I mean, you don't need me to do this, but you can certainly do it. Let's see one more. Let's see. Okay. So let's take a look at the individuals for this game. And again, we have to re-click on view other games, Short Shots. And we look at athletes, totals. Let's see how we did. So Ryan was 3 for 10 for 3, which is not the end of the world. Like, for example, like one more, and I would say he's fine. Right? Justin continued sort of his cold streak. He's 2 for 8. But again, just one more of those makes, and you're right in there. Brandon 1 for 4. Nolan 0 for 4. Jordan took 3 threes. Again, should he be taking threes? Wow, Jordan was 0 for 8 from 2 in that game too. Obviously not your best, to say the least. Wow. One thing to note, and we're going to get to this when we talk about the season-long stuff. I see Nolan was 4 for 5 from the line, and that actually is a really big deal because getting to the line is also a very efficient way to play. And you can shoot even over anything over 50% from the line. You're efficient. And once you're at 80, I mean 70 plus at this age group, you're doing great. And the two main free throw shooters, and we'll get to those later, as we get to and Brandon was 3 for 4. When we get to the season longs, you'll see that becomes a very, very big deal. Especially when you can't really are not shooting that well, then you can get to the rim with the confidence that you can go ahead and make your free throws if you get fouled. All right, so moving on, we will go to bracket play. So let's just talk about the first game was unfortunately the loss, and for reasons that Chris and I have already discussed. We were kind of nervous about this game. We've just seen games like this before, and we were just kind of afraid that what actually happened would happen, and unfortunately we couldn't stop it from happening, and that's just the bottom line. But to my point, you'll take a look, and in this game you had that same 45% effective field goal percentage, but as I mentioned, that's usually not going to work. You need to have 55 to really make sure that you're going to win these games. And when you do have an effective field goal percentage of 45%, what it does is puts a lot of pressure on you to make up for it elsewhere, and that can either be in other statistics or being extremely good defensively. And your turnover rate was really good. Offensive rebound percentage was good enough, but the problem was that your opponents were 62% effective field goal percentage. And the reality is unfortunately, even though I said your defense is good, it's not easy to stop people from scoring. And I know that that's kind of weird to say, but it is. I mean, it's very, very difficult to stop offensive teams with good offense from just getting theirs. It's just really, really tough. So sometimes no matter what you do, no matter how much you yell, no matter how much you scheme, if people can shoot, they're just gonna score, and you're gonna have to be able to outscore them. And that's just unfortunately the way life works. And so if they're gonna put up 62% effective field goal percentage, that's why your 45 is just not gonna be good enough. So let's go and we'll take a look at the shot chart, for example. Let's see how we did. So your shot chart's really good. And this is excellent. I mean, only 2 bad twos, so excellent job. But just another day where you couldn't make the shots that you're really supposed to make. So, not that you're supposed to make at least, 35% of the time, maybe. So we have to look into this more. We have to look at who's taking these and things like that, and what types of threes they were. Were they contested? Were they uncontested? As I spoke about Chris during one of the breaks, the difference between taking a contested three and an uncontested three can affect your expected rate by about 30%, meaning that if you're normally a 40% 3-point shooter, if you take them contested, you could take 30% off of that, and your assumed percentage is usually about 28%. Now, unfortunately, Huddle does not allow you to break it in that way, but that's just the reality. And again, you can click through, take a look and see. First of all, you can see the quality of three, and then we can talk about who's making them. See, I actually think that's fine. That was a terrible closeout by White. And that can't be good. That was one that was extremely highly contested. And I'm going to say whether it goes in or not. That was no good because you were almost being contested by your own guy. And again, I had to call these up before. That's no good. Again, the guy's right in your face. So that's what's going on in these left corners. Let's see. Well, that's excellent. Okay, you take that all day. I don't care if that didn't go. But listen, this is not up to me, and that was going to be good for mine. But that looks perfect. It just doesn't go. And this is what coaches are for. I'm not the coach. Okay. I don't think that anybody would see that's no good. I don't think anybody would disagree with my assessment here, but this is for the coach to decide, which types of threes he wants. And for you guys to learn, so that the difference between the contested threes and the uncontested threes. Okay, let's take a look at the individuals in this game. Athletes. Oh, stats. Athletes from NEPA. Let's see how we did here. We got to click totals. So let's just take a look at threes, for example. So Justin, you did fine. You were 5 for 11 from three. That's back where we want you, to say the least. Ryan 2 for 5 is good, but no one, again, we looked at some of these when we did the review. I mean, there were just too many contested ones. Okay, and Brandon as well, just too many contested ones. Okay, so let's move on to the next game, which is, I think the next one was the Connecticut Elite game. Actually, sorry, the NEPA game was not the first bracket game. This was the first bracket game, the Connecticut Elite game. As a matter of fact, I didn't watch too much of this because I left this game early because I knew we were going to win. And I scouted the NEPA game because I knew that's who we'd be playing next. And that's how I was able to tell Chris that I thought the game might be a problem, because I watched them play and I just know what types of teams give us a problem. So let's take a look at the overall stats for this Connecticut League game, which we won really easily. So here's what you got. You have effective field goal percentage pretty close to 55. Then you have almost an extremely elite turnover rate of under 10%, and offensive rebound percentage of over 40. And this is what this is how you win. You have these stats, and this is how you win. Even though your threes weren't even particularly good, but everything was at the rim. Other than this, and you did great. Let's take a look and see the shot chart, though. Let's see what this looks like. Elite. And we want the overall. So this right here. I don't know if this is even accurate. This because there's no way that you shot literally 32 shots from here. I think they just probably miscalculated these, and these are probably more taking it to the rim. Let's just take a look. See what they're looking at. Yeah. Right. So they consider that a mid-range. So that's why you have to also, when you see, that's part of doing statistics is knowing what looks like outliers. So like if you looked at the shot chart, they'd say, whoa, look at all these bad twos. But it just didn't make any sense. So I had to click through these. So you have to actually figure out which of these are bad twos. I'm going to presume that these were all good. So very, very nice job with good shot selection. Very good job with everything. Let's just take a look again at the individuals, though, and let's see. See what this looks like. Let's make sure we're in the right game. So it always defaults to the top game whenever you click switch views here. All right, so we have totals. Nolan's still struggling, 1 for 6 from 3. Justin, 1 for 9. Just look through these. Ryan, 1 for 4. It's okay. Jordan at the rim, 5 for 6. This is what we want from you. Brandon getting to the rim really nicely. Some of it might have been in transition as well. 6 for 6. Excellent job. So yeah, overall, good stats, good shot selection, good win. That's what happens. All right, let's go to the okay, let's do the Texas Wildcats game because I didn't get all of this. It's not my fault. Baller TV just didn't get the whole game. And actually not sometimes. I always ask for it anyway. Like I always, even though you're not going to get the full team thing, it does add to the overall statistics for the season. So I like to add them in here. I'm not going to go through a whole breakdown of the game because I don't have the whole game here. But hey, look at this. Let's take a look at least some statistics here from this game. Justin was 1 for 1 from 3. Ryan 1 for 1 from 3. We could look at it. Listen, there's no harm in looking at it. Let's take a look at the shot chart here. See where these shots were from that we saw. Again, it's such a small sample size, 26 shots. It's not very useful. Let's take a look at some of these. Let's take a look and see if this is a bad 2 here. Let's see. Yeah, that's not good. Okay, effective made that. I don't like that one. You could probably gotten all the way to the rim with that. Anyway, no big deal. This game is only half the game. And, every once in a while, we're just going to get this, and there's literally nothing I could do other than say, any of the parents feel like videotaping. Anyway, if you had a copy of the full game, you wanted me to upload it instead of this, I'll be more than happy to do it. Okay, and in the final game, we had the Sunday game against Richmond. And let's take a look. So effective field goal percentage, 42%, not great. I'm telling you, this is going to have to improve. 16% turnover rate, that's good. Offensive rebound percentage, actually, I want this under 15, right? So maybe not that great. Offensive rebound percentage, almost good enough. But again, fortunately, what we did is actually we forced the opponents in this case to have a high turnover rate, which was a big deal, actually. So the other thing is that you look at the free throws, like the opponents were 7 for 16 from the line, and we were 17 for 24. That's our whole margin of victory. So we did a very nice job getting the ball, not only getting the ball to the rim, but actually making these free throws, which is extremely strong. Let's take a look at the shot chart. See, these I don't like. I have to double check these. Let's see. Yeah, you don't need that, Justin. Dude, you could have made it from 40 feet higher, 40 feet longer. Let's see this one. 2 from Justin? Justin, come on. You know better than this. Matt, if you're watching this, you can show him this. Justin, if you're watching this, just don't shoot from there. I mean, ever. You can shoot from here and be better than here. And you see, you know why that is, Justin, right? I mean, it's not that you're going to make less from here. It's that you're going to make from here about 35% of them. I'll even give you 40, even though it's not. But if you think about it, right, just do the math. 40% makes from here averages out to be about 0.8 points every time you shoot, right? Because 40 times 2 points is 0.8. Where if you're going to shoot even 30% from back here, even here, when you get 3 points for it, 0.3 times 3 is even 0.9. So even here is better than here. Just literally don't ever, I mean, don't ever do that. Not to mention this guy was contested. Let's take a look at the individuals from this game. Stats, totals, athletes. Nolan, again, another 1 for 5 from 3. That's not good. Brandon 0 for 4 from 3. Justin 0 for 2 from 3. So yeah, this could develop into a problem. I mean, it already is a problem, but fortunately, we've been able to kind of skirt around it by getting to the rim, which is good. And look, this is great. I mean, look at this, 7 for 7 from the line from Ryan. This is big. This is a big deal. And 3 for 5, 1 for 3 for 5. There's no free throw violators. This is actually a very understated positive of this team, is that when you do get to the rim and you do get fouled, you are making your free throws. And that's big. Okay, let's take a look at the stats for the season. And again, as I mentioned, you didn't think this when the season started, that you'd ever get to a sample size that's meaningful. And we're getting there. 12 games selected. So it's 12 for the season. And again, what we're looking at is what we're looking for is, again, that effective field goal percentage to approach 50 or 55%. It's just not there. And again, are you going to stay in games? You're going to win some, lose some? Yeah, sure. But to win the types of games that I know Chris is going to want to win, like deep into these tournaments, this is going to have to improve, as will your just overall approach to the game. Not yours. I mean, being able to improve this is going to improve your overall basketball intelligence. What types of shots are good shots? Turnover rate is kind of where is okay. Offensive rebound percentage, again, we can improve that. Let's take a look at, and again, you could also take a look at the shot chart for the whole season. As I mentioned earlier. A few other games all season. And we go overall. And again, the less there is here, the better. And then let's take a look at the athletes' stats for the season. And again, these are the different things that we're looking for. These are the goals that we are trying to achieve. So we want you guys to be able to shoot at least 50. Okay, I'll give you a break. 50% from two or 35% from three. Okay. If you could do both, that's really, really good. But you got to be able to do at least one. So let's just take a look. From two, I mean, I would like more of you guys to do better from two. Justin, you don't take it to the rim all that much, but see, you're 16 for 31 from two. I hope that, see, I think you should be better. And the reason why this is not as good is because of some of those floaters I just saw you take earlier. But Brandon, very, very strong getting to the rim. Jordan, I would expect this 60%. Ryan, a little out of control sometimes. Put that in with your bad twos. This is why this is low. From three, the unfortunate reality is you only have one player shooting over 35%, and the sample size is minuscule. So I don't even, who cares if Sean's 38%, if he's only taking 16 of them for the season. The dilemma is that the players that are shooting these the most, actually Sean's shooting 36 of them. That's what I meant. Sorry. So he's shooting, I'm sorry, from three, he's shooting 38% from three, but he's only shooting 36 of them. The problem is that the three guys that are shooting it the most, Justin, Ryan, and Nolan, are not shooting it well enough. Okay. Ryan at 31, Justin at 30, and Nolan at 20 is going to just really put a drain on performance. Not to mention Brandon at 17%, which is obviously really poor, and he's shooting it a full 48 times. Now listen, this does not necessarily mean on this sample size, let's just funnel the ball to Sean and let him take all the threes. That's not the way statistics works. But you learn from these. Like for example, let's just say that Brandon, you have the ball, and you're a 3-point line, and someone's starting to close out on you, and you see Sean wide open in the corner. You should probably pass to him. He's got a good percentage, maybe even better than you have, and you're being contested. Yet on the other hand, like these decisions based on statistics go the other way too. So let's say, I'll give you an extreme example, because I know Justin's better than this. So let's just say that Justin was better than this, for example. Let's say that Justin, you have a wide open three, and you see, I'm using this as an example, not to say anything else. And let's say you see spins in the corner. Okay. If you pass up the open three to throw it to John in the corner for a three, you're actually making just as bad of a decision as if a bad shooter shot it instead of passing it to you. You follow that? I had a kid like that in my on my teams that was probably the best 3-point shooter on the team, yet was like so unselfish that it cost us. Like he would be open, but he said, I'm going to throw it to someone, even though he knows that the guy was weaker than he was from three, and that's just as bad of a mistake. But nonetheless, I mean, Ryan, Justin, Nolan, and Brandon, if you're going to shoot this much, you have to look into this. You know what I mean? Like you either have to, number one, this could be just a sample size issue. It could, but I'm willing to accept there's something else going on, and that you should probably just work on, settling for more uncontested threes if you're not doing that already. Again, I can't filter all these. I mean, I could. And you click through this, I can see all of your threes, Ryan, as could everybody. Or work, obviously you're always going to work on your shot. Or, accept that maybe, I don't know, these are not conclusions for me to make. Maybe Brandon, maybe you're not so great for three. I don't know. Or maybe this is sample size. Maybe it is just working on your shot. Maybe it is too contested. Maybe Noah, maybe you're not so great for three. I mean, these are not my conclusions. These are things that you can, as coaches, you could think about. And Ryan, I mean, Justin, is there something structurally wrong with his shot? Considering that last year he was 40% from three over a huge sample size? I don't know. But these are the things that I would kind of look at using these types of tools. But listen, just to again summarize, it was honestly it was a pleasure to be to watch you guys work, so to speak, both coaches and players, and obviously the parents did very yeoman's work, staying out of the way, yet while being supportive, and that's not to be understated either. Another day on that, and I guess that'll do it. I will obviously not going to be at the next tournament, but you'll probably hear from me by videos probably this time next week. Good luck, everybody.